Welcome to another episode of the Curtis Zone. I, your ever so awesome host, Dylan J. Curtis, ask that you hit the like and subscribe button because by clicking on this video, you have decided to subscribe and watch this video and watch me, my smiling face, and of course more of my bouncing pecs. Now, today is yet another reoccurring thing that I've started here on the Curtis Zone. I will be listing the most badass moments of a certain character. In this case, the character is Samurai Jack. Now, this is going to be a long one. I'm going to start with Season 1 and move up to Season 5. Maybe giving one or two from each season, but I will not be naming every awesome thing that he's done. So if I missed anything, or if you want to add or subtract something to the list, just put it in the comment section down below. This is not a top 10. This is not anything like that. I'm just telling you guys some of his most badass moments. Now, before we get started, of course, news, anyone? We have just learned here on the Curtis Zone that Deathstroke will be added to the roster of Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League in an upcoming DLC pack, which is going to be released either this December or this upcoming January. I personally cannot wait because Deathstroke is one of my favorite assassins. Second piece of news from the world of Lionsgate: it has been reported that 3 new actors have been added to the roster of the live-action Voltron movie. Their names are Rita Ora and Sterling K. Brown. Personally, I cannot wait because it's looking like we're getting a large roster for Voltron. So, let's just wait on that. The final piece of news is this: I hope that everyone had a chance to see the 2-episode premiere of Creature Commandos, which is on HBO Max. I saw it, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, it was pretty cool. They had some elements from the last Suicide Squad film as well as the last season of Peacemaker in it, and I thought it was pretty cool. So, watch that when you get a chance. Now, let's start talking about Samurai Jack. But first, let's give you a little bit of a non-fiction origin on him. He was created by Genndy Tartakovsky, who was one of the main creators behind shows such as Dexter's Laboratory and Symbionic Titan. Genndy Tartakovsky created the character because he had a huge fascination with the Kung Fu series, which came out in the early 70s. Wait, no. I think it might have come out in the late 70s. I don't know. Anyway, Samurai Jack was created and was one of the original programmings for Cartoon Network. This was after Cartoon Network was turned into Cartoon Network after becoming Boomerang. Now let's talk a little bit about his powers. That is, if you haven't seen my episode on Samurai Jack, which you can find up here somewhere, Samurai Jack's powers come from nothing more than hard work, determination, and years of physical and mental discipline. He's ranked number 1 on the top 10 best martial artists in all of animated television. This is because he has been trained in every form of armed and unarmed combat that has ever been known. He is proficient with all weapons associated with being a samurai warrior. This includes swords, axes, throwing stars, throwing knives, tomahawks, bow staffs. The list goes on for days, ladies and gentlemen. But his most notable weapon is his family's ancient sword. The sword which was created by the gods and blessed by the gods, as well as his ancestors as well. It takes a warrior of ultimate skill and physical and mental focus in order to wield it. But its true power is to destroy evil, which is what it does to Aku. Now, the first most badass moment of Samurai Jack happened in episode 3 of the first season, when Jack took on an entire army of beetle drones. Here's the thing, like I said before, Jack is proficient with all weapons. This includes bows and arrows as well, and which he created after using crystals that he found in a rock quarry while making his samurai armor. He also befriended a horse that was the size of a giraffe and weighed about as much as an elephant. So basically, it was a hybrid of a giraffe and an elephant. Anyway, Jack fought this entire army of beetle drones using crystal spears, arrowheads, the whole 9 yards. He fought off 200 beetle robots with nothing more than those crystals and his family's sword. Another moment in Season 1 that is very badass, if you ask me, is when Jack went up against an army of bug bots in space. And as everyone knows, gravity is pretty messed up in space. You know that if you took 3rd grade science. And Jack was able to use his sword to slice up flying robots like nobody's business. And then he used his sword yet again to block an entire beam that the bug bots were shooting at a group of scientists. So yeah, there's that. In Season 2, Episode 1, Samurai Jack had to enhance his agility, and so he trained alongside a group of people who tied rocks, boulders to his arms and to his back, and then he trained like nobody's business. This means that he has enhanced strength as well from years of physical and mental discipline, which, if you ask me, is pretty cool. Another one of the most badass moments in Samurai Jack's history is when Jack went up against 3 blind archers, and he had to do so while he himself was blindfolded. This proves that Samurai Jack has enhanced senses as well, because Jack was trained to not only defend himself against weapons, but also to catch flying arrows that are hurling at a speed that are unknown to man. And Jack fought against 3 blind archers who were guarding a sacred portal that were above him. So it was pretty awesome to see. I hope that everyone enjoyed it as much as I did. Another most badass moment is in Season 3 of Samurai Jack, when Jack had to fight against 3 Egyptian warriors that are warriors of Horus the Hawk God. And so he had to read Egyptian hieroglyphs in order to summon Horus the Hawk God in order to battle them. So this proves that he has years of study as well, including in Egyptian hieroglyphs. So yeah. Another very badass moment of Samurai Jack is in Episode 1 of Season 4, when we see that Samurai Jack was trained as a ninja. He was trained as a ninja, and he fought against a shinobi who had the ability to use darkness to turn himself invisible. But Jack was trained to use the light. I watched this episode and my exact words were, damn! The next moment is in Episode 2 of Season 4, when Jack combined himself with a giant stone robot in order to fight another robot. Jack is one of the most spiritual beings ever, and he combined himself with a giant robot in order to fight against the Mondo bot. And this giant stone robot was an ancient samurai robot that had that only had a sword on it, and whereas the Mondo bot had a lot of other stuff. And Jack tore that Mondo bot apart like nobody's business. The next one we're going to talk about is when Jack fought an entire army of zombies. Jack fought against this army of zombies with nothing more than a sword. But his sword was taken from him by Aku, and so Jack stole a sword and shield from dead zombies and was able to defend himself against his own sword. Yes, he was able to defend himself against his own sword, the sword that is supposed to only be used to destroy Aku. He was able to defend himself against it. I loved it. You will love it. Watch it. Another badass moment we're going to talk about is Jack's enhanced endurance. He can go all day and all night when it comes to combat, and he fought against the Scotsman. When he and the Scotsman met, the two of them went mano a mano, sword against sword, and it lasted for hours. So long, in fact, that the two of them lost track of time and were up and found themselves up against an army of bounty hunters. And so the two of them worked together in order to fight against these bounty hunters. It was awesome to see it, my friends. Before I give you guys my final badass moment, I want to talk about the next badass moment is when Jack was given a virus that was turning him into Aku from the inside out. And so he went to a group of monks in order to get the virus extracted from him. However, the monks were having a hard time doing it, so they had to do it. So Jack had to do it from the inside out, proving his connection to both his ancestors, to his family, and all the friends that he's met throughout the entire series are strong enough to fight against Aku. It was pretty cool to see it, my friends. The final badass moment we're going to talk about in Samurai Jack's history is when Jack and a group of 300 Spartans went up against an army of robots that seemed to be never ending. And Jack sacrificed himself in order to save these 300 Spartans. However, it was found out later that Jack did not die, which proves that you cannot kill Samurai Jack. Now, just like that another episode of the Curtis Zone has come to a close, ladies and gentlemen. I ask that you remember to hit that like and subscribe button for more content from here on the Curtis Zone. If you want to see more of me, my smiling face, and of course, more of my bouncing packs. As always, remember to give some love to our sponsors, Coastal Waste and Recycling, because as you know, I love it when they take care of my garbage, especially after Thanksgiving. So I need someone to take out my trash and get it out of here so I can put more in it. And Coastal takes care of you with the best of the best when it comes to sanitation professionalists, and they will always take care of you with extremely good prices. So remember to log on to Coastal if you want a good trash service. Now, I love you all, and I will see you guys soon with another episode this week, so remember to look out for that. Until then, peace.